Los Angeles glows at night like a mirage, towers glistening, boulevards buzzing with wealth. But under the neon and marble lies another city. One of cold sidewalks, empty stomachs, and cardboard shelters. It is here, just beyond the glittering glass doors of the Aurelius Hotel, that two worlds collide. Inside the ballroom, chandeliers burn like captured suns. The city's elite gather for a gala gowns, tuxedos, champagne glasses clinking. A string quartet plays Bach in the corner. Waiters in white gloves circulate with silver trays. For Veronica Caldwell, billionaire industrialist, financier, visionary of the age, it is another night of endless handshakes and hollow compliments. She sits at the head table, posture perfect, face carved into polite indifference. Her dinner is untouched. Salmon with saffron, asparagus spears aligned like soldiers, wine glass full to the brim. She rarely eats at these events. Food is ornament, not sustenance. Conversation is currency, not nourishment. But across the marble lobby, beyond the velvet ropes, hunger waits. On the street corner, a woman clutches her daughter's hand. Her coat is frayed, shoes worn to the sole. Her face is young but lined with exhaustion. Her name is Amara James, and she has been invisible for so long she almost believes she is a shadow. Beside her, her little girl, Naomi, 6 years old, presses close, eyes wide with a hunger she doesn't know how to hide. Amara whispers, "Just a little longer, baby." She scans the glass doors where waiters vanish inside carrying trays piled with food she will never taste. She knows it's foolish to linger here. Security will drive her away, but she is desperate. Tonight, her daughter ate nothing but stale crackers from a convenience store. When the ballroom doors open, the smell wafts out. Roasted meats, sweet pastries, butter and wine. Naomi inhales, eyes shining. "Mama, it smells like heaven." Amara bites her lip to keep tears back. At that moment, Veronica rises from her table. She has endured enough small talk. She gestures for her driver. They move through the lobby, flanked by aides, her untouched plate of salmon boxed discreetly by a waiter. She is halfway to the exit when Amara steps forward, trembling, blocking her path. "Please." Her voice is low, hoarse with shame and desperation. The aides stiffen, ready to shove her aside. Security moves, but Veronica lifts her hand. She looks at the woman before her, thin, weary, clutching a little girl with eyes too large for her small face. Amara swallows, forcing words past her pride. "Please, do you have anything left?" Just the leftovers." Gasps ripple. Such things do not happen in the marble halls of the Aurelius. Veronica stares. The aides exchange horrified glances. The child hides her face against her mother's coat. For a long moment, the world holds its breath. Something stirs in Veronica, a memory she thought long buried. Her grandmother's voice, whispering over her childhood bed when storms rattled the roof. "Fear not, for I am with you." The words ring in her chest, unbidden, unwanted, undeniable. She looks down at the boxed salmon in her hand. A plate she did not touch. A plate that means nothing to her. A plate that could mean everything to the child. Her aide whispers sharply, "Ms. Caldwell, let me handle this." But Veronica ignores him. She kneels, something she has not done in years, and holds out the box. "Take it." Amara stares, disbelieving. "Are you sure?" "Yes," Veronica says softly. "It's yours." Naomi peeks from her mother's coat, eyes wide. Amara takes the box with trembling hands. "Thank you. Thank you so much." The scripture hums again in Veronica's bones. "Fear not." She feels something crack in her chest. Not pain, something else, something like light. She rises, turns, and walks away, her aides flustered, security confused. But as she steps into the night, she knows this moment will not leave her. Because in the eyes of that hungry child, she saw something she had forgotten. What it means to be seen. On the street corner, Amara and Naomi sit on the cold curb. They open the box reverently, steam rising into the night. Naomi claps her hands with delight. Mama, it's real food. Amara nods, tears sliding down her cheeks. Yes, baby. A gift. She looks up at the towering glass where Veronica disappeared. A miracle, she whispers, and so begins the chain. A billionaire's quiet act of kindness. A homeless mother's prayer answered. A scripture whispered through the night. And a story of little miracles waiting to unfold. The next morning dawns bright and merciless over Los Angeles. From her penthouse, Veronica Caldwell stares down at the city like a queen surveying her restless kingdom. The skyline gleams, helicopters buzz, freeways crawl with cars. To her, it usually looks like control. Today, it looks fragile. She sits at her dining table, a crystal glass of untouched juice before her, the newspaper folded neatly. Her aides hover nearby, briefing her on market shifts, board schedules, political donations. She nods mechanically, but her mind is elsewhere. She cannot stop seeing the little girl's eyes, those wide, hungry eyes, that trembling voice. Mama, it smells like heaven, and the scripture that had risen in her chest without invitation. Fear not, for I am with you. It will not leave her. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Amara and Naomi sit in the corner booth of a rundown cafe, sharing a single plate of pancakes. The manager, kind-hearted but wary, lets them sit as long as they order something small. Amara cuts each bite carefully, making sure Naomi eats more than she does. The salmon from last night is gone, devoured with gratitude and tears. But something about the woman who gave it lingers in Amara's heart. The billionaire's face. Not just beautiful, not just powerful, but softened in that moment of giving. Amara whispers to herself, maybe God hasn't forgotten us after all. Naomi, mouthful of pancake, beams. Mama, she was like an angel. Amara smiles faintly. Maybe she was. 2 days later, Veronica attends a board meeting in the glass tower of Caldwell Industries. The directors drone about profits and losses, quarterly projections, legal risks. Normally, Veronica dominates such rooms with cold authority. But today, her gaze drifts to the skyline. She wonders what became of the mother and child. As the meeting ends, one director mutters to another. The boss seems distracted. Veronica hears but does not respond. That evening, as she leaves the tower, she notices a figure standing near the security gate. Thin, weary, clutching a child's hand. Amara. Veronica stops in her tracks. Her aides stiffen. Security shifts uneasily. Amara steps forward, eyes downcast. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to intrude. I wanted to say thank you for the food the other night. Naomi peeks out from behind her mother, clutching a worn doll. Her face brightens. It's you. Veronica's chest tightens. She forces her voice steady. You didn't need to come here. I know, Amara whispers, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. You didn't have to help us, but you did, and it meant more than you know. Silence hangs. The aides glance at Veronica nervously, waiting for her to dismiss them. But instead, Veronica kneels again. That strange posture she thought herself incapable of, and meets Naomi's gaze. Are you doing better, little one? Naomi nods vigorously. Mama says we had a miracle. Veronica swallows hard. Maybe you did. Then, unbidden, the scripture hums again inside her. Fear not, for I am with you. Amara hesitates, then blurts, Please, ma'am, I don't mean to ask too much, but do you know of any work? I'll scrub floors, wash dishes, anything. I just want to feed my daughter. Veronica's aides bristle. One whispers, Miss Caldwell, we should move on. But Veronica studies Amara closely. Her coat is thinner now, her shoes worn. Yet her eyes hold dignity, determination. Not begging for pity, begging for a chance. Veronica straightens slowly. Wait here. She disappears into the tower. Her aides mutter, confused, but follow. Minutes later, she returns holding a card. She presses it into Amara's hand. This is the number of our facilities director. Tell him I sent you. He'll find you something. Amara's lips tremble. I don't know what to say. Say you'll show up, Veronica replies. Naomi beams. Mama, you got a job. Amara clutches the card to her chest, tears streaming. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Veronica nods, then turns to her car. Her aides protest. This sets a dangerous precedent. You can't employ just anyone off the street. But she silences them with a look. Inside the car, as the city lights streak past, she exhales slowly. Her grandmother's voice whispers again. Fear not, and she realizes this is only the beginning. The next morning, Amara stands nervously in the service entrance of Caldwell Tower. Naomi clings to her skirt. A supervisor ushers them in, skeptical but polite. Ms. Caldwell herself called. Said you'd start with the kitchen staff. Cleaning shifts. Amara bows her head. Yes, sir. Anything. Naomi smiles up at her. See, Mama? She's an angel. Amara squeezes her hand, whispering, No, baby. She's just someone who listened. That afternoon, Veronica reviews contracts in her office. Her assistants whisper about the odd new hire downstairs. She ignores them, but secretly her heart pounds. She doesn't know why she interfered. She doesn't know what compelled her. But she knows this. For the first time in years, she feels like she has done something real, something human. And that night, when she sits alone in her penthouse, she finds herself whispering aloud into the silence. Fear not, for I am with you. She hasn't prayed in decades, but tonight the words feel like the start of one. Amara's first day at Caldwell Tower feels like stepping into another universe. The service entrance smells of bleach and coffee. The corridors narrow and buzzing with fluorescent light. Workers in uniforms hurry past with trays and carts. Amara clutches her ID badge, Naomi holding her hand tightly. The kitchen manager, a stout man with a skeptical expression, waves her over. Caldwell herself called, so I guess you're mine. Dishes, counters, whatever needs doing. Pays minimum. Hours are long. That okay? Amara nods quickly. Yes, sir. More than okay. Naomi squeezes her hand. We'll be all right, Mama. The manager sighs. Kid can't stay here, though. Before Amara can respond, a voice cuts in. She can stay with me. All heads turn. Veronica Caldwell stands in the doorway. The room freezes. Executives rarely step into the kitchens. Veronica never. Yet here she is, immaculate in her tailored suit, pearls catching the harsh light. She looks at Naomi and smiles faintly. I have an office upstairs. She can sit with my assistant. Draw. Read. I'll make sure she's safe. Amara's eyes widen. You'd do that? Yes. Veronica says simply. The manager blinks, then shrugs. Well, if it's your word, ma'am. And just like that, 2 lives shift. By noon, Naomi sits cross-legged in a leather chair outside Veronica's office. Crayons scattered across a sketchpad. Veronica glances out occasionally between calls. At first, it feels odd, the presence of a child in her world of steel and glass. But soon, it becomes oddly comforting. During a break, she steps out. Naomi holds up her drawing. A stick-figure woman in a long coat, standing beside a smaller figure with curly hair. It's you and Mama, she explains brightly, because you gave us food. Veronica stares at the crude lines, throat tightening. That's a very good. Naomi beams. I can make you one every day. Veronica nods, unsure what to say. She retreats into her office, closing the door, but she leaves the drawing on her desk. Meanwhile, downstairs, Amara works furiously. She scrubs pans, wipes counters, mops floors. Her hands ache, but she smiles. For the first time in months, she is earning honestly again. When she picks up Naomi at the end of the shift, Veronica watches them go. Amara bows slightly in thanks. Naomi waves, clutching her sketchpad. Something in Veronica's chest stirs. Unfamiliar, unwelcome, but not unpleasant. Over the next weeks, a rhythm forms. Each morning, Amara reports to the kitchen. Each afternoon, Naomi settles outside Veronica's office. She draws pictures, hums softly, sometimes asks Veronica innocent questions that no one else dares. Why is your office so big? Do you get lonely up here? Do you like flowers? Veronica answers curtly at first, but gradually she softens. She begins keeping fruit in a bowl for Naomi. She allows her to sit inside the office on rainy days. One evening, when Veronica leaves late, she finds Naomi asleep on the couch, Amara folding napkins nearby. Instead of waking them, Veronica covers Naomi with her own cashmere scarf. The aides whisper, "It's inappropriate," one mutters. "A liability," another says. But Veronica ignores them. One afternoon, Amara brings a small package. "For you," she says nervously. Veronica frowns. "For me," Amara nods. "It's nothing much, just a thank you." Inside is a loaf of homemade bread. Uneven, slightly burnt at the edges, but fragrant. "I baked it at the shelter kitchen," Amara explains. "It isn't perfect, but I wanted to give you something back." Veronica blinks. No one has given her anything without agenda in years. She tears off a piece, chews slowly. It is coarse, but warm. "It's good," she murmurs. Amara smiles with relief. Naomi claps her hands. "See, Mama? She likes it." Veronica hides a smile behind her napkin. Then comes the first miracle. One evening, Naomi wanders into the office while Veronica works. She clutches a Bible from the shelter library, its spine cracked. She asks innocently, "Do you know this verse, Miss Caldwell?" And reads aloud, stumbling but clear, "Fear not, for I am with you." Veronica's pen freezes mid-signature. The words slam into her chest like thunder. She whispers, "Who taught you that?" Naomi shrugs. "Mama reads it to me when I'm scared." Amara, standing in the doorway, nods softly. "It's the only verse my mama ever made me memorize. I tell Naomi it's our promise." Veronica swallows hard. That scripture again, the same that rose in her heart the night she gave them the salmon. Now spoken by a child in her own office. Her voice trembles. "Yes, I know it." Naomi smiles brightly. "Then you're not scared either." And she returns to her crayons, leaving Veronica shaken, staring at the verse written across her soul. Over the next weeks, little kindnesses multiply. Veronica sends a tailor to alter Amara's uniform so it fits properly. She quietly instructs payroll to double Amara's wage. She hires a tutor for Naomi in the afternoons, disguising it as office enrichment. In turn, Amara begins leaving small tokens for Veronica. Not expensive gifts. She has nothing of value, but she presses flowers in notebook pages, leaves sketches Naomi makes, writes scripture verses on slips of paper. At first, Veronica sets them aside, but soon she arranges them carefully in her drawer, then on her desk. Just as Elias once left his mysterious gifts, Amara now does the same, unaware of the parallel. And each time, Veronica feels a strange warmth she cannot explain. One evening, as Veronica drives them home in her car, an arrangement she insisted on after hearing Naomi once fell asleep on a bus bench. Naomi pipes up from the back seat. "Miss Caldwell, are we your family now?" Veronica stiffens. "Family?" Naomi nods eagerly. "Because you take care of us." And Mama says family are the ones who stay. Silence fills the car. Veronica grips the wheel tighter. For years, her life has been empty of family. No husband, no children, only contracts and boardrooms. Her throat tightens. She whispers, "Maybe we are." Naomi beams. Amara hides a smile, eyes brimming. That night, Veronica sits alone in her penthouse. On her table rests Naomi's newest drawing. 3 figures holding hands beneath a banner of words written in childish scrawl. "Fear not, for I am with you." She touches the drawing with trembling fingers. And for the first time in decades, Veronica Caldwell bows her head and prays. Not for herself, but for them. One afternoon, Amara finishes scrubbing pans in the tower kitchen. She hums softly, the same scripture she taught Naomi. "Fear not, for I am with you." A fellow worker, a young dishwasher with weary eyes, pauses. "My grandma used to say that verse," he murmurs. "Haven't thought of it in years." Amara smiles. Maybe you were meant to remember today. He nods slowly, then returns to his work, but lighter, straighter, as though a burden has shifted. Veronica hears about it later from the supervisor, who chuckles. Your new hire's turning dish pits into revival tents. Veronica says nothing, but a quiet warmth spreads in her chest. The second ripple is louder. Naomi's tutor, a stern woman with wire-rimmed glasses, begins each session in Veronica's office with impatience. She finds the child bright but restless. One afternoon, Naomi insists on drawing before her lesson. She sketches 3 paper cranes and writes beneath them, in wobbly letters, "Fear not." The tutor scolds. "Naomi, focus on arithmetic." Naomi pouts but hands the paper to her anyway. The woman glances at it, ready to crumple, then freezes. Tears flood her eyes. She whispers, "My husband. He used to fold cranes for me when I was afraid. He died last year. I haven't seen one since." Naomi blinks, confused but gentle. "Then you can have this one." The tutor presses the paper to her chest, weeping silently in front of Veronica's desk. Veronica looks on, shaken. She realizes the miracles aren't confined to her anymore. They are multiplying. The third ripple changes everything. It happens at a staff meeting. Veronica's executives present quarterly reports, charts rising and falling. Tension buzzes. Then, as coffee is poured, Naomi's latest drawing slips from Veronica's folder. It flutters onto the polished table. It shows 3 figures, Veronica, Amara, and Naomi holding hands beneath the words, "Family." The directors exchange awkward glances. One mutters, "Inappropriate." Another scoffs. But one older woman, a senior executive who rarely speaks, studies the drawing. Her eyes mist. She whispers, "My daughter hasn't called me in years. Maybe I should call her tonight." The room stills. Veronica stares at the woman, surprised. She gathers the drawing quickly, but the impact lingers. A boardroom that worships numbers has just been moved by a child's crayon. That night, in her penthouse, Veronica reflects. She remembers her grandmother's voice, the scripture like a drumbeat in her memory. She whispers into the quiet, "Is this you? Are you really weaving this?" Her gaze falls on the desk where the gifts rest. Naomi's drawings, Amara's bread, the pressed flowers. Ordinary things, yet through them extraordinary grace. She feels a tremor of belief. The ripples continue. One rainy evening, Veronica drives Amara and Naomi home to the shelter. Outside, a man slumps against the wall, shivering, soaked through. Naomi tugs Veronica's sleeve. "Can we help him?" Veronica hesitates. Normally she would drive on, but something in Naomi's eyes compels her. She stops the car, steps out, and offers the man her coat. At first, he refuses, muttering shame. But when she insists, his eyes fill with tears. "No one's ever stopped before," he whispers. The shelter staff rush out, pulling him inside. As they drive away, Naomi grins. "See? Little miracles." Veronica laughs softly, the sound unfamiliar in her mouth. "Yes, little miracles." Even the tower begins to change. Employees whisper that Ms. Caldwell seems different, less distant. She greets receptionists by name. She asks janitors how their families are. She pauses to listen instead of sweeping past. Some are skeptical. Others are moved. One young intern tells a colleague, "She smiled at me today. Not polite smile, real smile. I didn't think she knew I existed." And every time, Amara hears about it from someone in the kitchen. She tells Naomi at night, "See what kindness does? It grows." Naomi nods solemnly, then whispers the verse, "Fear not, for I am with you." The most striking miracle comes one Friday evening. Veronica is preparing to leave when she notices Naomi drawing quietly on her couch. The girl hums the scripture tune, crayons scratching. She holds up her picture proudly. A tall tower, light streaming from every window. Beneath it, in bold letters, "A house for everyone." Veronica frowns. "What do you mean, Naomi?" Naomi shrugs. so no one has to be outside in the cold. Amara, standing nearby, flushes. She dreams big, she murmurs apologetically, but Veronica cannot shake the drawing. That night she lies awake, staring at the city lights from her penthouse windows. Towers glitter, streets crawl with tents. The contrast burns in her chest. A house for everyone, she whispers. The phrase lodges in her mind like prophecy. The next morning she acts. She calls her legal team. Draft a proposal. I want one of our unused warehouses converted into transitional housing. Start with one. Quietly. Don't announce it yet. Her aide stammers. But Ms. Caldwell, why? There's no profit. There will be. Veronica cuts in. Just not the kind you measure. The aide falls silent. Weeks later, the warehouse doors swing open. Beds line the halls. Kitchens bustle. Showers run hot. Families shuffle in, eyes wide with disbelief. At the entrance, Veronica stands with Amara and Naomi. A reporter asks why she funded this. Veronica glances down at Naomi's drawing in her hand, then answers simply, "Because a child reminded me what miracles look like." The article runs the next day. The headline, "Billionaire builds home for the invisible." Her board fumes. Critics sneer. But the city notices. Volunteers flood in. Donations rise. And most of all, lives begin to change. Late one evening, as Veronica walks through the new shelter, she passes a family at dinner. A mother, a father, 3 children sharing stew. The father looks up, eyes glistening. "You gave us this?" Veronica shakes her head. "No, your children did." He frowns. "What do you mean?" She smiles faintly. "A child drew a house, and God did the rest." The scripture hums again. "Fear not, for I am with you." Veronica feels it in every breath. The miracles are no longer small tokens on a desk. They are lives transformed, houses filled, hope restored. And it all began with leftovers in a paper box. The warehouse shelter garners headlines, but not all of them kind. Business networks frown. Caldwell neglects shareholders for social projects. Pundits sneer. Another billionaire vanity stunt. Her board rages. "You've crossed a line, Veronica," the chairman hisses during a closed-door meeting. "This company doesn't exist to house vagrants. It exists to produce returns." Veronica sits stiff, eyes cold. "Returns mean nothing if the city around us collapses." "You risk billions," another director shouts. "Our investors will flee." But what cuts deepest comes from within. Security footage leaks. A clip of Amara begging in the Aurelius lobby that night. The internet erupts. Some praise her bravery. Others mock, calling her a scammer, a sob story. Trolls speculate that Veronica is being manipulated. Amara weeps when she sees it. "They think I'm using you." Naomi clutches her tightly. "Don't cry, Mama. Miss Caldwell knows the truth." But Veronica feels the weight. She paces her penthouse, fists clenched. Doubt gnaws. Had she jeopardized everything, her empire, her legacy, for a woman she barely knows? That night she drives through the city, restless. She stops near Skid Row, watching men huddle around fires. A boy no older than Naomi runs barefoot across the cracked pavement. Her grandmother's voice echoes, "Fear not, for I am with you." She whispers aloud, "Then help me believe that." The board calls an emergency vote. Veronica faces expulsion from the very company she built. She stands before them, spine straight. "If your only measure is profit, then expel me. But know this, money dies. Towers fall. The only legacy that remains is love lived out loud." Silence. Then, motion to remove. Hands rise. Meanwhile, downstairs, Amara cleans floors with trembling hands. She feels the tremor of change above her, though no words reach her. Naomi sits quietly sketching in the corner, crayons scratching out another picture. This time she draws a bridge. On it, 3 figures hold hands beneath the words, "Fear not." When Veronica returns, voted out, her aides pale. "It's over," one mutters, but Naomi runs to her, thrusting the drawing upward. "Don't be sad. Look, God says fear not. Veronica drops to her knees, clutching the paper. Tears spill freely, out of the mouths of babes. Her heart steadies. She realizes she has lost her empire, but gained her soul. Word of her ouster spreads. Reporters swarm, but so do supporters. The warehouse fills with volunteers. Churches send food. A viral campaign trends. #FunIt. Then comes the miracle. Amara finds a letter slipped under the shelter door. No signature, just words. 2 years ago, I was ready to give up, but I saw a woman give her food to a stranger. Saved me. Today, I donate $10 million. Build more houses. Keep hope alive. Attached, a certified check. Veronica reads it aloud, voice trembling. Amara covers her face, weeping. Naomi claps her hands, shouting, "See? Little miracles." The crowd erupts with joy. In that moment, Veronica realizes kindness multiplies. The chain has become unstoppable. She turns to Amara, grasping her hands. "You thought you were the beggar that night, but you were the miracle bearer. You reminded me what it means to be human." Amara sobs, "We saved each other." And Naomi, grinning, whispers the verse once more. "Fear not, for I am with you." Months pass. The Gifts Foundation expands. 3 new centers open. Families find shelter, jobs, dignity. Veronica no longer signs stock reports. She signs housing deeds, school grants, medical programs. Her wealth funds not glass towers but human lives. Amara becomes director of community outreach. Naomi thrives in school, her drawings framed in the foundation's halls. One evening, they gather in the garden of the flagship center. Lanterns glow, children laugh, volunteers serve food. Veronica sits with Amara and Naomi at one long wooden table, surrounded by those once invisible. Naomi climbs onto a chair, raising her voice. "We are family," she declares. Cheers erupt. Amara laughs through tears. Veronica's chest swells with something she once thought she would never feel again. Belonging. She realizes the reunion is complete, not of blood, but of choice. Years later, Los Angeles glimmers as always, but scattered among its towers stand homes of hope, shelters, schools, clinics. Each bears the simple inscription over its doors. "Fear not, for I am with you." Naomi, now grown, walks the halls as a leader in her own right. Children run to her. Volunteers greet her as Miss Naomi. On her office wall hangs a framed relic, the paper box that once held salmon, flattened and preserved. Beneath it, a plaque, "The meal that began a miracle." Veronica, older now, walks beside Amara through the gardens of the foundation. They pause by a mural of cranes, violets, and bridges. Amara whispers, "It all started because you listened." Veronica shakes her head softly. "No, it started because you asked." And both women smile, tears in their eyes. The chain of little miracles continues. And so, a homeless mother's desperate plea for leftovers became the seed of 1,000 miracles. One act of kindness, small, quiet, almost forgettable, rippled outward into shelters, families, and futures reborn. Veronica learned that wealth is not legacy. Love is. Amara discovered that asking for help was not weakness, but the doorway to transformation. And Naomi grew up knowing she was never invisible, that miracles are made of ordinary kindness. This is their story, but it can also be ours. Because every day, someone waits on the other side of a glass door, hungry for hope. And every day we hold in our hands the chance to give, not wealth, not perfection, but compassion. So when the moment comes, remember the verse that carried them. "Fear not, for I am with you." And let that truth turn your small act into a miracle.